the internet, Donna here. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about why your dentures don't fit. Now, you might be saying, but Donna, my dentures fit great. Or I've already passed up that healing phase and my bone shrinkage has stopped. What do you mean why my dentures don't fit? Well, to put it simply, eventually your dentures won't fit because you're not done shrinking in your bone area. The process is just really slowed down a lot to where it's not as noticeable over shorter periods of time. But as time goes on, you're going to notice a lot more bone shrinkage and your dentures will get looser or will rub in certain spots where they don't quite fit properly. So on average, a set of permanent dentures like these are expected to last between 5 and 8 years, 5 and 10 years, something like that. And over the course of that time, you should have a good fit for a good amount of that time. But towards the end of that time period, not only are the teeth worn and your dentures showing signs of wear and tear, but they may not fit properly due to bone resorption. Now, the alveolar layer of your bone, your jawbone, it's where the teeth are rooted into when you still have teeth rooted in there. So when the dentist took out your teeth or took out my teeth, he took out all of the bits out of the alveolar layer, and the alveoloplasty is what grinding down on that layer is what they did to reduce bone spurs and to even out my ridge. A lot of the jawbone that you're going to lose is that alveolar layer. It is preserved through the stimulus of biting and chewing, through pressure and the stimulus of chewing. Makes sense, right? So when that's removed through tooth loss, the bone resorbs or reabsorbs into the body. In the first year after tooth extraction, 25% of bone is lost, and the bone loss continues on over time. Now, about that alveolar layer, the alveolar bone forms the ridge, like I said, in which the teeth are embedded. And so they also, at first, form the ridge that our dentures rest on. So it's important for you to understand that the alveolar layer, those ridges will atrophy. They will wear down, they will be resorbed into the body, both vertically and horizontally. So your ridges will get shorter, but they will also get skinnier or flatter, or a combination of the two. So if we need pressure from chewing to stimulate that alveolar layer, why are we still losing our bone even though we've replaced the teeth and have something else in there chewing and exerting pressure on the alveolar layer? Replacing the teeth with full or partial dentures doesn't solve the problem. Dentures exert a very small amount of chewing pressure on the bone compared to natural teeth, as low as 10%. So your dentures will spread the bite force evenly across your mouth, but it's still nothing like the bite force that you were able to exert with your natural teeth. Now, if losing the alveolar layer of your your mandible, this part, the moving part of your jawbone wasn't bad enough, bone resorption can also happen in the upper jaw, in the maxillary jaw up here, that's the top, when molars are removed. This can actually cause additional resorption of the bone due to the expansion of the sinus cavity. Because when you take the teeth out of there, the sinus cavity gets bigger because the teeth aren't in there, the roots of the teeth aren't in there taking up room. So with no teeth in place in there, the air pressure in the sinus cavity will actually cause resorption of the bone lining the sinuses. So that news isn't great. So if you're watching my video and you haven't had all of your teeth pulled or some of your teeth pulled and you're still wondering about bone loss, yeah, it can happen to you too. Some other causes of bone loss or bone resorption include osteoporosis, and that'll happen wherever on your body, usually in the joints. Let's see, what else? Misaligned teeth. If we go back to your mouth, misaligned teeth will cause normal chewing to not occur, which will cause a loss of the needed stimulus to the bone in order for it to regenerate itself. So it'll resorb. It can be lost through infection, periodontitis, that damages the bone. Periodontitis starts out when you have teeth and will attack the bone under your gums or the ligaments attaching your teeth to the rest of your face, like the ligaments attached to the roots of your teeth. So if you have periodontitis at all, you are causing yourself some bone resorption there. And please, if you have periodontitis or something else that's making your teeth feel loose or owy, please go and see a dentist and have that diagnosed and a treatment plan made. Now, the bad loss for us denture wearers is that dentures can actually accelerate bone loss by wearing away the ridges of the bone that they're placed on. Every time you bite down or clench your teeth, you're placing pressure on the ridge, resulting in its resorption. Right? It's like, that's so ghastly. This is a primary cause of continual problems on getting dentures to fit, sore spots, and difficult or painful chewing. So over time, you're causing the bone loss by putting the pressures from your chewing and biting on top of your alveolar layer instead of inside of it. So the bone isn't signaling the brain that it needs to regenerate. It is, as it resorbs, it's just resorbing and going away. Because the regular cycle is it will resorb, tissue, but it'll regenerate other tissue. So when there's no anything inside of that layer there that says, hey, regenerate tissue here, I need you to hang on to me with the root of a tooth, then it doesn't happen and causes bone loss. I really hope I'm making some kind of sense here because I think I've talked myself into a circle. Now, over time, and this is so scary, I'll put up a graphic. People who wear dentures can experience another severe consequence of bone loss, and that is the collapse of the lower third of your face, this part right here. So this, where you have your lip support, and it can go away and be flat, and not only that, but start to cave in over time. The loss of the bone ridge brings your chin closer to the nose, causing your jaw to jut out, and your nose appears to stick out further because your upper lip has puckered in. Deep wrinkles appear around the mouth and cheeks, develop jowls, like here, that's sagging skin. And the facial collapse can age you by many, many years, even if you are not that old. Say you got your dentures when you were 20 and never checked in with the dentist about bone resorption all the way up until you were 30 or 40, then all of a sudden you could look 50. So keep an eye on that. If your dentist has said that you're a candidate for implants and you're worried about bone loss, the implants can actually slow that down, or even prevent it. If you give the jawbone a replacement tooth with a root that can exert the same or similar pressure as natural teeth, you can slow it down, or even stop it. Immediately after extractions, you can place single teeth with dental implants or use a fixed implant-supported bridge or denture, like what I have here. I have 2 implants securing my lower into place. A single tooth implant or a dental bridge with 3 to 4 teeth, and I'm looking at my notes here, I'm sorry, with 3 to 4 teeth, supported by 2 implants, provides a chewing power of 99% of your natural bite force. That is loads over the 10% that you get out of just dentures sitting over top of your ridges with no implants. And that's for a dental bridge. A denture secured with dental implants provides 70 to 80% of normal biting force and helps considerably in preventing bone loss. So, if you're not in the market for bridge work or for, all on 4 or, individual implants to replace every single tooth that you've ever lost, having just an implant retained denture will give you 60 to 70% more bite force than what you get with just having a denture that sits on top of your gums. That's a pretty big number. So what can be done about the upper jaw? When your upper back teeth have been removed, the ridge bone resorbs and the sinus cavity expands. Okay, so that eventually the bone separating the sinus cavity and the oral cavity is very thin. Dental implants can't be placed in such thin bone, and in these cases, you may need to have a procedure done called a sinus lift. Now, let me make sure I'm getting this one right. A sinus lift is when your sinus is lifted, by pushing up on the membrane lining the sinus away from your jaw and packing in bone graft material into the space where the sinus cavity was. Once the bone graft material has fully integrated with the jawbone, you can have implants placed. Now, bone grafting isn't just a thing that's done for sinus lifts. It's also done to secure implants in place. For me, when I had my lower teeth extracted, because I didn't have upper implants placed, I didn't realize that that would be a jawbone saving procedure. And I'm going to go back and have some implants put in the upper just to stop bone resorption from being such a thing. Like, that scares me to death. But I had 2 implants placed, one here and one here, one at 22 and one at 27, if you know the numbers of your teeth. And when the implants were placed, my dentist drilled out the hole where he had pulled the tooth to clean it up. He packed some bone grafting material in there, put the implant in, and then packed it in there with more bone grafting material. And then later, after the bone grafting material had set up or taken root or whatever it does, when he exposed and engaged my implants, he cut open the little hole where the implant was at, and then he took a drill in there, and I wasn't expecting the drill. It was really weird to me. He took the drill in there and kind of drilled out around that implant to uncover it before putting the posts in. So bone grafting isn't just something that's for a sinus lift. It can actually help to secure implants anywhere that they're needed in your face, which is really cool. I didn't know that. So the deal with bone grafts is not only does the bone graft replace lost bone, it also stimulates the jawbone to regrow and eventually replaces the bone graft with your own healthy bone. The type of material that the dentist chooses to use for your bone grafts is going to depend on your individual situation, but there are some cutting edge materials out there that require much less healing time than the older standards did. So a thing about dentures that actually increases the rate of bone resorption is an ill-fitting denture. The less area that you have in contact with your gums is the less area that can exert a bite pressure on that area. So you're not getting the full 10% of bite forces that you would otherwise be getting had you had a properly fitting denture. This is why it's important to make sure that your dentures fit properly. Do the relines when you need to, get new dentures after a time when they just, can't be relined anymore, can't be fixed anymore, or the teeth have worn down. It's really important to take care of your new smile after you get it, just like it was important in the first place to take care of your original smile. We have the opportunity and the option to replace our smiles every few years if we get tired of them or they start going downhill. So that is pretty much all that I have for you today. If you have questions, comments, leave them in the comment section below. And until next time, when I have a fresh new video for everyone, be good to each other, keep smiling, and keep being awesome.